Mandlecha. I am psychologist by profession and I have done my MBA in Human Resource Management. I conduct programs for Indian Army, Indian Navy, Mumbai Police. I conduct programs for more than 60 different companies for management and non-management people. I have taken programs on more than 10 TV news channels, live program, recorded program. I conduct programs for trade unions across all political parties. I also conduct program in hospitals. From 15 years, I am visiting faculty for various management institutes, and from last 15 years, I am practicing as a psychologist. Welcome for this talk on managing workplace stress. This is a very important area. First, we will talk exactly what is exactly the stress. I want you to think about one specific thing about which you are upset or disturbed. You don't have to tell me. Related to either in your personal life or work. Do we get stress? Yes. Yeah. So think about one specific thing about which you are upset. And if possible, think about related to work, because we are going to talk about work. What you have to do, you have to identify the trigger point. What do I mean by trigger point? The thing which is most upsetting in that particular thing. I will give you one example. Say for example, this X is working in one company, A and B is reporting to X. Now X is reporting to Y. This is the structure. What happened in this company? Z also came into picture, new boss. And this X is reporting to Z also. Now Z insulted X in front of A and B. This is one thing has happened. Not only that, Z is very aggressive and dominating, demanding, and with his influence with higher authorities, what Z has done, this A and B जो X को रिपोर्ट कर रहा था वो अपने तरफ कर लिया. Now this X is upset, right? X is upset. Usually what people tell, नहीं वो क्या है ना, नया बॉस आया ना उसका टेंशन है. But it is not. It's very important to identify what is specifically disturbing me. So in this case, there are three things are there. First, this Z insulted A and in front of A and B, that can upset. Second, this Z is very aggressive and dominating and X has to report him. Third, ये reporting निकाल लिया है, right? So if you ask 10 different people, if they face similar experience, they might give different trigger point. Not necessary, they should be same. But in this case, X का trigger point ये था कि उसका जो reporting निकाल लिया था, that was his trigger point in this circumstances. So that is how you have to identify your trigger point. What is that which is upsetting me in my work situation, right? I hope you have identified. Shall we go ahead? Yeah. Now the most important question of today's session, whatever trigger point or it is called as event you have identified, if 10 people are facing similar trigger point, will all these 10 people will feel exactly the same? Will all these 10 people will behave in exactly same? No, that's true. Why they will not behave and respond in exactly same manner?
Because the point of view is different. Individual variation.
Individual variation. Their beliefs, their point of view is different. Their thinking is different. That means what I am thinking about what is happening to me is main cause of my stress, right? The consequences, there are two types of consequences we have. One is emotion and other is behavior. So it is not what happens to me, but what I am thinking about it, that's why I feel the emotion. Now second most important question, Say for example, you are fired from the job, or you are accused for the mistake which you have not made on the job, or in this case report ही निकाल लिया है, या your boss abused you. Let's take these examples. After happening all these things, are you going to feel very excited and happy about it? No. Say you are being fired, are you going to feel very excited and happy? No. So what type of emotions will come in the mind, positive or negative? Negative. So second most important thing, when negative things are happening outside me, either at workplace or at home, we are now talking about workplace. Different example I am going to give, what different emotion we can feel. When negative things are happening at workplace, I will not feel positive about it, I will feel negative only. But in negative emotions, there are two types of negative emotions. One is HNE, that is healthy negative emotion, other is UNE, that is unhealthy negative emotion. This is less intense, this is more intense. Say for example, you are being fired from the job, then you have concern about your future, that is healthy. But if you have anxiety, then that is unhealthy. Or say for example, your, in this case the trigger point, what the person was, uska power nikal liya tha, isn't it? If the person is feeling sad about it, that is healthy. But if the person is feeling depressed, then that is unhealthy. Say for example, you have not made a mistake and still you are being held responsible and you are being blamed by your near and dear one at workplace. If you are feeling disappointed about it, that is absolutely fine if you are feeling disappointment. But if you are feeling hurt that I don't deserve this kind of treatment from my near and dear one at work or the people at work, boss, या आपको पीठ के पीछे किसी ने छुरा चलाया वर्क के ऊपर, विश्वासघात किया, प्रॉमिस ब्रेक किया, if you are annoyed, if you are feeling annoyance, that is absolutely fine. But if you are feeling anger or feeling of hostility or revenge, then that is unhealthy. Let's take one more example. You failed to follow your moral code or you made a mistake at workplace. You made a mistake. If you have regret about that mistake, that is fine. But if you are feeling guilt, then that's a problem. Something socially unacceptable has happened and that is being revealed to everybody at workplace. Or say for example, you cried at workplace. If you are feeling disappointment about that crying, that is fine. But if you are feeling shame, then that is a problem. Now the most important thing, third important thing, for healthy negative emotions, whatever has happened to me outside, that is responsible. I cried in front of boss, or I made a mistake at workplace, or मेरा विश्वासघात किया या trust break किया, that is responsible. But for unhealthy negative emotions or more intense negative emotion, what is responsible? I am mainly responsible. That means my thinking is responsible. But many people, what they think, for these emotions also external circumstances are responsible. But in reality it is not. If for these emotion external circumstances are responsible, then if 10 people are facing similar circumstances, will all these 10 people will feel exactly the same? Will all these people will be react in exactly the same manner? No, they will not react in the same manner. So what does that mean? My thinking contributes to my emotions, and if I change my thinking, then I can minimize the level of stress at my workplace or wherever I am. So this is the basic important concept. Now I will start with my topic today, today's lecture, with my presentation, right? So see, major source of anxiety and stress is our work, and one of the major source of anxiety, finding low stress job is not easy. In fact, it is almost impossible. Yeah, without stress. So that means what? There will be a stress at work. So if I am here constantly, then what will happen? I will be under the stress and the effect will be on my health. That is why it is called as unhealthy. If the level of stress is more, the effect will be on health. So effect will be on my health. Blood pressure badega, diabetes badega, acidity badega. So, and I am going to give you example of some managers how they develop ulcers because of hostility in their mind. So if we go to unhealthy negative emotion, then our thoughts are responsible. It is difficult to find job which suits you, right? It's very difficult. Then most of the people in job, they do not laugh. That is another fact, you know. So that is another important thing. But then why do they continue? The salary, the status, the prestige, the benefit, the perks and the pension what they get. For that reason they continue the job. There are, you know, now I will talk about why we go from here to here. There are 4 important reasons. First reason, if we have rigidity in the head, I must, you must, life must, this kind of a rigidity. You must not break my trust, or you must not blame me when I have not made mistake, or I should not have cried in front of my boss and revealed my weakness, or I must not have made mistake, और मेरा रिपोर्टिंग ऐसा लेके जाना ही नहीं चाहिए था, ये चेंज मेरा पावर निकालना ही चाहिए था. So yeah, I should not have been fired from the job. So this rigidity will create problem. I will go there. Then what I am supposed to do, instead of rigidity, if I develop flexibility in my mind, then I can minimize my stress. How I can develop flexibility? I would,
This possible.
yeah, there is a possibility of happening whatever has happened to me. That's why this has happened to me. And जिंदगी में किसी के साथ भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, क्योंकि राजेश खन्ना ने कहा है, क्या कहा है? जिंदगी एक सफर है सुहाना, यहाँ कल क्या हो किसने जाना. So anything can happen and not necessary जो भी हो रहा है वो मुझे पसंद आए. That means कुछ चीजें मेरे मन के खिलाफ होने वाली है. Yeah, acceptance does not mean I like it, I don't like it. Yeah, but there is a possibility of happening. ऐसा हो सकता है. Once this acceptance is there, then your focus will be from event to thinking. What is the main job of psychologist or psychotherapist? Is help people to shift their focus from problem to how they are thinking about the problem. But काफी लोगों क्या होता है, प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर ही फोकस होता है. He should not have treated me like this, and they do PhD on the problem. Actually प्रॉब्लम के ऊपर PhD नहीं, हमें what thinking I am doing in my mind उसके ऊपर PhD करना, that is most important. और thinking का speed बहुत ज़्यादा होता है, उसको awareness में लाना, that is very important. So it's important to shift flexibility from rigidity. How I can shift? I would like, if I do not make mistake, I want so that I don't make mistake, because I don't, my work will suffer if I make a mistake. But I am a fallible human being who is capable of making mistake. I dislike my mistake, but I don't dislike myself, right? So this is how the flexibility. Similarly, yeah, other person must not betray me. This is rigid. I want other person or my colleague not to betray me, because I don't like to be betrayed, and I don't like to be blamed when I have not made mistake. But if it is happening, it is really unfortunate and bad, but it's not terrible, horrible, catastrophic, end of the world, because more terrible things can possible, and it is really difficult to tolerate when I am being blamed unhealthily. But I can tolerate it because I want to continue my job, and I don't want to disturb my health as well. So this is the flexibility. Let's take another example. मेरा पावर जो है वो जो रिपोर्ट ही है वो निकालना ही मांगता था, निकालना नहीं चाहिए था. अगर उनको नहीं निकाला था तो मुझे अच्छा लगता था. But I don't control the universe, I don't control my other person. So I don't like it whatever has happened. It is really unfortunate and bad, but it is not a must. ऐसा होना ही नहीं चाहिए था, because there is a possibility, that is why this has happened. So this is one aspect, right? Why do we go? So in that respect there are three musts, right? You must. If people don't treat me nicely, they are evil and should be severely punished and blamed for their hideous treatment of me, right? So this is just like you must. Life must. Things and condition absolutely must be the way I want them to be, and must never to be too difficult and frustrating. And life must be, easy, hassle-free. Life must be without problem. There must not be obstacle. All the condition in the world must be favorable to me. Life must give me what I want. Life must not give me what I don't want. So this way, low frustration tolerance will develop. We all are, yeah.
We experience it in varying kinds every day. So it is part and parcel. Stress is a part and parcel.
Yeah.
We feel stressed when the demands we confront appear to exceed our capabilities to cope with them.
Yeah. So now what we will do, there are various situations we face, like the hateful boss,
dealing with office politics, the possibility of not getting promotion,
too much of work
and too little time.
Too little time.
Common.
Then see, there are various major causes. Workload is 46 people, issues 28%. Then judging the 20% and lack of job security 6%. In my opinion, in India, this is a major problem. ये ज़्यादा भी हो सकता है. ये जो है outside India का है. Because the reason is, in US people are individualistic, so they think too much for themselves. पर India में क्या है? What people will think, that is more. They are more social oriented. So stress भी है वहाँ पर. US में stress जो है वो अलग टाइप का है थोड़ा. अपने यहाँ पर कैसा है कि लोग क्या सोचेंगे, तो relationship oriented stress is more. So because that relationship oriented stress more, so this may be larger, but that is also one of the significant thing. Gharwale or people must treat me fairly. I don't deserve this kind of a treatment from my close, near and dear one. How can they treat me like this? How they can betray me? So most of the people, they have hurts in their mind. What is hurt? When I feel I don't deserve this kind of treatment from other person, or when I feel I am being betrayed, or the trust is broken by the other person, or I feel I am neglected. I am going to show you, each and every emotion ये जो मैंने लिखा है, उसके example I will show you. So examples of anxiety. So this is first emotion. This is related to performance.
If I fail to convince high profile customer, okay, so this is
Anxiety before meeting the high profile customer.
If I fail to deliver set standard of call in joint work along with my senior.
If you are working in pharma, then that is there.
If I fail to do perfectly in my call every time, so that anxiety is there for future. Not feeling prepared at all. However, we are preparing for it, but still we feel that I'm not prepared, totally.
So any performance, either अभी थोड़ा बाकी है. Today when we were finalizing presentation, this presentation, अरे ये भी बाकी है अभी. But that incompleteness के साथ ही we have to go. Yeah. So now see, there are other. If I go blank during the call or the presentation, that kind of anxiety, then I will feel discomfort. Yeah.
Second. I become anxious during the call or presentation.
Yeah. So this is anxiety. Anxiety is related to future. Anxiety is related to threats. What I perceive related to future. That is the main theme in anxiety. Then anger or the hostility. Yeah.
Not given the work as per my caliber.
So then.
Think that they have their caliber and that work is not given as per the.
More than that, I have.
Unexpected.
Repeatedly allocating you work shift at odd times. Posted you in a difficult market which are non-performing area, maybe a Patna, Guwahati, Satara, Sangli.
Yeah.
Boss deliberately inform you on Friday evening about important work to be submitted on Friday. So one has to work on from
And calling on Sunday, Saturday, week holidays. Yeah.
Not granted and sanctioned holidays, not sanctioning bills on time, conflict and non-cooperation among team members, thus overload of work.
Then few more examples.
Booking flights and train tickets which are not comfortable to you in terms of timings or days, common one. Indifference, favoritism and politics, promoted junior and incompetent person because he's good to boss. The next situation is new reportee, not so serious about work. Okay, and I'm so loyal to this company, and so many years I'm here, and new joinee has come and he's not serious. How come he's behaving like this? Interdepartmental conflicts, one of the employee got insulted by marketing head and cornered him for one reference. So such kind of situations are there. Vendor at the time of order showed qualitative product, but at the time of supply delivered compromised quality. Yeah.
Abusive boss. See, that's why Kabir, Rahim, what Rahim said about abuse, language. जीव्या तो है पड़बावरी, जीव जो है पड़बावरी मतलब पागल है, टंग इज अ पागल, जीव्या है पड़बावरी, कह गई आकाश पाताल, कह गई आकाश पाताल, कह के भीतर चली गई, कह के भीतर चली गई, जूती खाए कपाल. So this but when you are behaving hostile, aggressive, that time you can, that's why Kabir said in one of his doha, शब्द संभाल के बोलिए, शब्द के हाथ न पाओ, एक शब्द औषध करे, एक शब्द करे घाव. So that's what, so that anger can come, but if you go on anger, then there will be a problem. The next is, yes.
Boss या कोई भी हो, डेली bombardment करता है उसके ऊपर. One day he follows this principle, but one day he may lose the mind and he says something just like this, anger.
Yeah, out of, so because rigidity है mind के अंदर. There are 4 reasons why we go. We are going to talk about that, First is rigidity. There are 3 more reasons. But we are just talking exactly what are these emotions, how these emotions are exhibited at workplace. So once we know, this is how these emotions are there, then we will talk how to shift, isn't it? We are already talking, depression.
Why is it required to shift from UNE to HNE? The most important that, before it is going to harm anybody else, it's going to harm yourself. Because the more you will be on UNE, that is if you are at anxiety, if you are at depressed, if you are hurt, if you are anger, guilt, first and foremost, before hurting anybody else, that is going to hurt you, okay, as a person. So on this earth, the most important is yourself.
And at the end, we are going to talk the basic core irrational philosophy behind this emotion and basic rational philosophy behind each and every emotion, and from these are the roots, from where these emotions are emerged, right? So depression.
Yeah. So at workplace, if depression is there, receive less increment than expected. 2 people were,
or performance appraisal may not got expected rating, then also
2 people were reporting to you and now the reporting is taken away from you.
So loss. See, what is depression? When I feel I have lost something important. What is anxiety? Anxiety is related to future. It is related to threats and dangers of the future. Yeah. In depression, when I feel I have lost something important, loss can be death of near and dear one, loss of, I'm not giving other example because our topic is on workplace stress. So I have taken only example related to workplace stress. So you are pregnant and you are on leave, and then when you come back again, you see आपका इतना power नहीं है. So that is again a loss. This is what, 2 people,
Loss of power due to centralization and formalization of organization. You have lost many of important, powerful responsibilities. So that can lead to depression.
In this century, number 2 problem in the world will be depression as per World Health Organization. India में number 1 है suicide के मामले में. Last year 133 people killed themselves. So this depression is prevalent and around 10 to 12% productivity के ऊपर depression के कारण ये होता है, which is not visible, but of course it is there. Then hurt.
Incompetent colleagues got promotion and despite of me working hard denied the promotion.
Yeah, what is hurt? I have said, I don't deserve this treatment after working so hard. Still, you know, how can that incompetent appraisal के भी time में I was expecting, you know, outstanding and I got only G. That is good. कभी भी आज तक नहीं हुआ, इतना करने के बाद भी कुछ पढ़ा ही नहीं है. सी तो दैट इज हर्ट फैमिली में भी आ सकता है, राइट. मतलब एक हस्बैंड था, वाइफ ने बोला कि 10 चीजें लेके आओ, हस्बैंड ने 9 लाई, फिर वाई आने के बाद वाइफ ने किटपिट की और बोला यू आर यूजलेस हस्बैंड, यू आर गुड फॉर नथिंग, सो यू केम इन माय लाइफ एंड स्पॉइल्ड माय लाइफ. सो दिस इज हर्ट. अरे आफ्टर डूइंग सो मच आल्सो उसको कोई केयरिंग नहीं, कोई एक चीज के लिए, दैट इज व्हाट. सो दैट इज अ हर्ट. So hurt काफी common है इंडिया में. When you feel neglected, so there are, you know, examples. See, neglected, not calling for important meetings, neglected.
Colleague blasted on me in front of boss and boss was indifferent and silent.
So how can he do that to me? You know.
Falsely being charged even when I have not made mistake.
Yeah. So see, that is a possible. That's possible. Often happens. Yeah.
Fired even when it's not my mistake.
Yeah.
Despite of working very hard on project, boss has removed you from the almost finished project and given to somebody else.
Last minute.
Credit to someone.
Yeah. So the hurt, you will feel hurt because you have put lot of efforts. See, not necessary. कभी-कभी क्या होता है, see, ऊपर एंगर दिखेगा पर अंदर हर्ट होता है. So it is very important to identify the emotion.
Despite of doing excellent presentation and being endorsed by attendees, still award given to undeserved
Person.
So again here it is
So-
credit has been given to somebody else.
So, you know, unfairness is another theme behind hurt. Unfairness, feeling of injustice, sometimes, you know, part of hurt. Guilt.
Okay, example of guilt. You have fired somebody and felt guilty about it.
Yeah.
You have removed subordinate from the job and feeling guilty about it.
I am going to talk about one situation where you have to take decision at workplace. Difficult situation, decision making at workplace. So the guilt, instead of guilt, if the person is feeling regret, then that is healthy. In guilt, what happens? You know, in regret and guilt, what is the difference? Say for example, this is me. If I made a mistake or if I am feeling bad about the act, that is regret. But in guilt, what I tell, I am bad person. I don't feel bad about the act, but I feel bad about myself. So that's the difference. That's one of the reasons. Then
You have stolen office stationery and taken home and mother questioned at home. Shame and
that can, the shame and guilt both can come. So both things can come, right? Or you are not, you know, using office time. You are using for your personal. Some people may feel guilt. Yeah, personal one. Shame.
Without guilt.
Huh?
they do it without
Nowadays they are doing without guilt. For some people, yeah. I know. So what happens, you know, if 10 people are facing similar situation, not all 10 people will feel exactly the same. Some people may feel, some people may not feel, right? But these are the examples. Now if you want more information, you know, like there are these 6 emotions. हर एक इमोशन के ऊपर मेरा YouTube में एक वीडियो है. Overcoming anxiety, overcoming depression, overcoming hurt, overcoming guilt, overcoming shame. एक 1.5 घंटे का है. How to control your anger before it controls you. So in that I have already spoken about the guilt, various aspect of the guilt. You know, guilt ये काफी एरिया में है, isn't it? So shame.
failed in important tasks due to my mistake and that got revealed to everybody.
Or you made a mistake in very important presentation in front of, you know, the boss or the MD.
Cried in front of boss or everybody. Fired in front of everybody or a group of people.
What is shame? How can I show my face to others? That is shame. In guilt, when I break my own moral code, then I feel guilt. Right, that's the difference between shame and the guilt.
You lose the eye contact.
Yeah, you avoid, because how can I show my face? Socially unacceptable has happened. Then that's how I feel shame.
Laughed on my ideation. You are being fired from the job, made a mock of it. caste revealed.
Sometime, you know, some people caste also, they feel I am born in this caste, it's a shame. So,
Poor financial condition revealed, fake degree revealed, or you are being arrested.
So-
that is also
envy, this is another important emotion. I have not healthy envy, unhealthy envy. This is also very prevalent, you know, at workplace.
junior colleague got promotion and I have not. Envy.
So I envy that, you know, envy is what you don't deserve it, and I will try to tarnish that particular thing. That is envy, unhealthy envy. Healthy envy, I want it, but I don't want to.
Is it envy is the next stage of jealousy? Because
Yeah.
envy, there is a anger and some repercussion is there.
Hmm.
And jealousy, maybe you may be feeling jealousy, but you may be at
See, we will talk at the end. See, I have not, यहाँ पर दो emotion नहीं लिखा है. One is envy and jealousy. There is a difference between envy and jealousy. We will talk at the end. इसके अंदर है what is the difference. And in fact, I am going to take one session here on overcoming envy and jealousy. That is already in pipeline. So, but we will talk. Yes, next. Right.
Important cream work is given to colleague and you have given unimportant work. However, you have caliber. New resources came in company and my colleague got most of it. For foreign trip, my colleague is nominated and not me. My boss is taking gifts at his home and giving very little to me.
But you know, so I may envy that particular thing. So important is what, so the most important thing that we do feel these kinds of emotions and situations are there, you know. So what is most important? How we manage them, that is very important. So there are other sources of stress, I will not name, you know, there are too many: environmental, technological, administrative, policy, organizational structure, design, then but we do feel emotions about that. Now coming back to the most important, people are not disturbed by the thing, but
by their
perception of the thing, or the way they think about it, you know. This is very important slide. See, this is called as optimal level of stress. कोई भी भावना नमक के जितनी चाहिए, नमक ज्यादा भी नहीं और कम भी नहीं. What is optimal? अगर वो कम है, सपोज यू आर नॉट बॉदर्ड, यू नो, जैसा निर्लज्ज इनसे, यू नो, गिल्ट के बजाय वो बिंदास, मतलब नो नॉट बॉदर्ड, देन दैट इज आल्सो अनदर प्रॉब्लम. या परफॉर्मेंस के बारे में जाने तो बिंदास, क्या करना है, आई विल नॉट प्रिपेयर, लेट इट बी लाइक दैट. सो देन नमक कम हो गया, राइट. सो सिमिलरली सी, इफ यू सी दिस स्लाइड, यहाँ पर दिस इज ऑप्टिमम, दिस इज स्ट्रेस, लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेस, एंड दिस इज परफॉर्मेंस. व्हेन द लेवल ऑफ स्ट्रेस इज ऑप्टिमम, that time your performance is also optimum. अगर level of stress कम है तो you will again casual approach, poor performance, and level of stress ये more
Then you will have health issues.
health issues. और यहाँ पर दो कबीर का दोहा था, unfortunately वो नहीं आ रहा है. Do you remember that?
Must be written.
No, it's not there. Just a minute, let me see. Yeah, oh,
No, let it be.
let it be. It's not because
ओके ओके. भाव से भक्ति करे सब,
हाँ.
भय से भक्ति करे सब,
भय यानी डर, डर से भक्ति करे सब. रीड.
भय से पूजा होए,
भय से पूजा होए, डर से, you know, because that डर is there. So that is डर means what? If it is optimal, then आप भक्ति करोगे, पूजा करोगे, then
any of the emotion need to be like, you know, like just like a pinch of salt, and that is required for any person to move on. That passion, that like, you know, urge to do something, for that you require that dar. Dar in the sense optimum level of any
Emotion.
of the emotion.
just read that complete
So,
the.
भय से भक्ति करे सब, भय से पूजा होए, भय पारस है जीव को. मतलब ये जीवन में भय जो है, जो स्ट्रेस है, ऑप्टिमम स्ट्रेस है, वो पारस है. The moment you will touch it, it will become transform into gold. Okay, so that is भय पारस है जीव को, निर्भय होए ना को.
So without stress नहीं होगा निर्भय. Next one also. भाव बिन, what is that? Yeah.
भय बिन भाव न उपजे,
भय बिन
भाव न उपजे, भय बिन होए न प्रीति. जब हृदय से ही भाव गया मिटी सकल रस नीति.
सो यू विल नॉट सब भूल जाएंगे अगर डर नहीं है तो. सो द इम्पॉर्टेंट क्या है, हमें अंदर आग लगानी चाहिए, पर वो ऑप्टिमल आग लगाएंगे तो ऑप्टिमल परफॉर्मेंस होगा. ज्यादा आग लगाएंगे हेल्थ रिलेटेड या पुअर परफॉर्मेंस, कम आग लगाएंगे देन ऑल्सो देयर विल बी प्रॉब्लम, राइट, देयर विल बी प्रॉब्लम. Yeah. So this is important. For peak performance you require optimal level of stress, right? So now we were talking about HNE and UNE, and we were talking about, this is HNE, UNE. There is healthy negative emotion, unhealthy negative emotion. These emotions are also called as choice opening emotion. These are called as choice blocking emotions. Why choice opening and choice blocking? Because of rigidity, even when options are there, because there is a rigidity in your thinking, you are not able to see the other alternative, other option. But when you are at healthy negative emotion, you are able to see the options and alternative, right? Suppose किसी को पैर में झटका लगा, तो वो क्या कहता है कि मतलब you must say yes to me, तू हाँ कर या ना कर, तू है मेरी किरण. तो उसको बोलेगा you will get 56, तो बोलेगा नहीं I want that only. So even when choices are available, the person is not able to see because of rigidity and because unhealthy negative emotion, because these emotions are choice blocking emotion. इधर होगा तो वो क्या बोलेगा, अगर तुमने मुझे हाँ कहा तो मुझे खुशी होगी, I will prefer, but it is not a must. और तुमने अगर ना कहा तो मैं मेरा एंटीना दूसरी तरफ घुमा देगा. So here the person will be able to shift. That's why these emotions are called as choice blocking and these are choice opening. So first important thing क्या है, flexibility, जिसमें acceptance of reality है. यहाँ पर rigidity, non acceptance of reality है, right? Then बात का बटन गट. What is this? Here second reason, here I tell myself it's terrible, but what I do here, I do anti-terrible. I tell anti-terribilization. What is anti-terribilization? I will give you an example. We will do one small exercise here for that. What is terrible? What is anti-terrible? Right. Now think about one specific event which you think as terrible. Right. Think about one what I will do. I will draw something. Right. I am going to make 4 columns here, and this impact of event is, this is 3, thinking is 3 plus 3 is equal to 6. 6 means this much impact. What some people do, they multiply 3 into 3, right? So that's why they go to 9. Now what I will show you one emotional thermometer through which you can measure your temperature of emotion. 10 is most, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. 1 is the least and 10 is the most. This is जैसा टेम्परेचर हम बुखार आने के बाद वो करते हैं, बट दिस इज इमोशन का थर्मोमीटर है ये. You have to think about one specific situation and you have to identify a trigger point, and when you went to 9, I have already shown you all emotion ka example. So when you last time think about any example where you went to 9, above 6, do we go there at times? Yeah, we do go there at times. So you don't have to tell me, but you have to keep in your mind that one specific situation जिसमें आप 9 तक गए थे. See, I assure you that at the end of this exercise, most of you or all of you will come here. But 3 things are required. First, you have to identify, you don't have to tell me. Second thing, you have to respond whatever question I am going to ask. And third thing, mental presence here for next 5 to 7 minutes, right? So I hope you have identified. Shall we go ahead? Yeah. Now keep that thing in your mind. ये जो scale है, मैं इसको 4 इसमें divide कर रहा हूँ. This I will say, this is 1, this is 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1. This I will say bit bad. This I will say bad. This I will say very bad. and this I will say terrible, right? Above 6, Now keep your problem aside and just simply tell me what is that thing, one thing which can happen to you, or two things which can happen to you, which you will call it as a terrible, horrible, catastrophic, end of the world, awful, worst. What is that one thing or two things which can hypothetically, which can happen to you, which you will call it as a terrible, horrible, catastrophic end of the world? Just give me the examples.
Loss of respect, self-respect.
Loss of self-respect.
Any situation.
In any situation.
Like suppose project given and snatched away without any reason.
Okay. So project given. So I will write here respect, loss of respect.
Insulted.
Loss of respect, insulted.
Got robbed.
Insulted, got robbed.
Not
For me, terrible is
Handicapped. Yeah, terrible is robbed. So not so I am writing now कि handicapped, right? और इसमें handicapped कितना है कि आपको 75% लकवा मार गया है पैरालिसिस. यहाँ पर मैं लिख रहा हूँ 10% handicapped. Which is more terrible, 10% or 75%? 75%. What else you will call it as a terrible, horrible, catastrophic? Think.
Got caught by the wife.
Got
caught by the wife.
Caught by the wife. Okay. आपको okay. I am writing down here because then what else? What else you will call it the terrible?
Maybe loss of job.
Loss of job. Okay. Then what else? Yes. Death of near and dear one, or death of all family members. It is terrible. Then what else? Yeah. Huh?
Business
Bankruptcy.
Bankruptcy. Okay. Loss is all losses. Then what else? Financial loss. How about suppose terrorists have kidnapped you और आपको पाकिस्तान जेल में रखा
Yeah, that's terrible.
और physical and mental torture किया जा रहा है. Can we say terrible?
Yes.
Horrible. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Horrible. I want the examples of horrible only. ये पाक जेल में आपको रखा, right? और किडनैप किया. Then what else?
We under expectation is what I expect if same thing doesn't happen. If something happen which do not जो मैंने सोचा था वैसा ही हुआ which may be horrible.
Like for example,
वही पाकिस्तान जेल का आपने जो
Pakistan jail का, yeah. Say now, see this loss. See, loss of job. Now you have to tell me what is. Yeah. So let.
become terrible at what stage it has come
Yeah.
and in what manner it has come.
Okay. So
Maybe in very bad or bad.
yeah, very bad or bad. So where shall I write?
Depending on person also.
Yeah.
If it's
Loss
not
of job is
finance,
something which can be changed.
Yeah.
no, what
And
I
like,
mean,
see, when I say terrible, why do I think terrible? Loss of job can be changed. You can get another job.
that's
Yeah.
what- I mean, it
Handicap,
all
you
depends
can-
on the
you can
person's
have-
financial level. Suppose he is not that way financially good, it is not terrible to him, or even not bad to him, because he will have. But suppose if he doesn't have that, then it may be very bad to him.
Yeah. So I will write here job, loss of job. Yeah, loss of job. So now what I will do, loss of job. So I just want to ask you one question. Which is more terrible, loss of job or loss of job and you are bankrupt?
Yeah,
That is more terrible.
Loss of job and you're incapable.
In?
and bankrupt.
If you're not really good at, you don't have any talents and you have lost a job which you had managed to get,
Yes.
Yeah.
it's terrible. But if you have
So I want, see, I will go one step ahead. Loss of job and no talent, incapable. And you are being sent to Pakistan jail. Which is more terrible in these three? I'm just asking you. I'm not underestimating that particular thing. Which is more terrible? Yeah, suppose you develop cancer. And that is 4th stage. This I will say, cancer 1st stage. Which is more terrible? Last, So then insulted.
That is not terrible.
So just because Pakistan चला गया इसलिए bad और insult से insulted जरा बहुत लोगों में किया है तो it is really bad. So see, when there is a threat to life, then you can say it's terrible, isn't it? So what are the possible threats we have about life? Where we get the threats? How we can get, like, you develop some, huh?
Even traveling in a train. The reason why I said handicap, I had a, the stress level of meetings have to be, deadlines have to be met, this, that. And once this had happened to me that while the train was moving and I fell from the train.
Oh.
Luckily I managed to safeguard my limbs and everything. That's the time when I said, okay, no matter how stressful the meeting or how bad the meeting is, Baba, take care of your health.
Yeah. So that is bad.
That's terrible. If it is handicappedness, imagine. Like
Yeah. If anything happens, so for example, yeah.
I was about to go into the train.
Yeah.
I was pulled out.
Yes. So what we will do, we will, imagine you fall down from the train and you are in ICU. Then is it terrible?
Horrible.
Terrible, horrible, isn't it? Else you have, आपको कुछ हुआ नहीं. So it is really bad.
In the sense, if I lose a business,
Yeah. So then see which is more terrible. You are in ICU or which has happened to you. So
anything which is irreversible is terrible.
Yeah, anything which is irreversible is terrible, right? So now let me take a couple of more example.
Anything that is irreversible needn't be terrible.
Yeah.
You could say like death of your loved one. It's irreversible. You grow over it, but you still remember it. I lost my father when I was a young boy. I still think about it. Terrible, but you grow over it.
Yeah.
Yes.
So you can feel sad about it,
Yeah.
but if you are feeling depressed, then your thoughts are responsible, isn't it? So loss of father can be very bad, isn't it? If it is terrible, then what will happen? The intensity will be more in the mind. If you terribilize in the mind, if you tell it's whenever we survivor in natural calamity. If I suppose, say for example, earthquake हो गया और आपके ऊपर पूरा building है, then it's terrible.
लाइफ सेविंग कोई चीट कर गया पूरा लाइफ जो जिंदगी भर कमाया था
हाँ.
लास्ट इट वाज ही वाज चीटेड एंड इनकम वाज
Yeah, पूरा cheat कर दिया. So now I want to ask you, which one is more terrible? Life saving आपका पूरा ले लिया, ये terrible है, या आप ICU में चले गए is more terrible? ICU में चले गए हैं, isn't it? So I am not underestimating. Say for example कि ये life saving आपका गया है तो very bad, isn't it?
हाथ पैर तो ठीक है.
हाथ पैर तो ठीक है, सिर सलामत तो पगड़ी 50, isn't it? Similarly, see one more thing. आपको समझो लेट्स से आप उत्तराखंड में गए, बाढ़ में फंस गए और पेड़ के ऊपर है, पानी बह रहा है, इट्स टेरिबल. और आपको तैरना नहीं आता है और पानी बढ़ रहा है, पेड़ हिलने लग गया, हॉरिबल. या सो natural floods, isn't it? Calamity. Then what you will call it as a very bad divorce?
Yes.
For some people it will be that's it. But for the most of the people it is person to person. So
Divorce and missing your kids.
yeah, divorce and missing your kids, it's really very bad. But ये यहाँ पर भी है, but this is mutual consent, no kids. और here like divorce और इसमें
You lose your guardian. I mean, what do you call that?
legal guardianship, and you have to pay maintenance or 3 months jail. 3 months jail. Very bad. What is more bad? Life imprisonment is more bad than this. Isn't it? So there is a possibility, right? So now what we will call it as a bad respect, loss of respect.
Yeah, could be bad.
Could be bad. Then insulted, robbed. Right. आपका क्या हुआ, पॉकेट मारा गया लेकिन उसमें 50 रुपया ही था. तो it is bit bad. Right. घर पे रखा था. Suppose you are robbed और आपका बहुत नुकसान हुआ है, तो then it is bad or very bad, right? Or that's why caught by the wife. what bad bad more terrible क्या है caught और मतलब वो पुलिस के इसमें लेके गए, then that is isn't it? So then what we will say bad, ऑफिस में पॉलिटिक्स चल रहा है, बैड, आपको ट्रांसफर किया गया, आपको रिपोर्ट ही निकाला लिया गया, बैड, ऑल द अदर सिचुएशन, वो इंसल्ट किया, यू नो ऑल द सिचुएशन, अदर सिचुएशन व्हाटएवर आई हैव मेंशन्ड, देन व्हाट कैन बी बिट बैड?
Anything which will feel you uneasy or something.
या मोबाइल कभी साइलेंट किया है, नेटवर्क नहीं मिल रहा है, लो बैटरी है, या ट्रैफिक जाम हो गया, या घर पे सवेरे वाइफ ने चाय झटका मार के चाय दिया या बच्चे ने उल्टा बोल दिया, करेक्ट, एनीथिंग यू नो विच इज लो ऑफ इंटेंसिटी. नाउ आई वांट टू आस्क यू अ क्वेश्चन, इज इट पॉसिबल, देयर आर टू इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन, जो बिट बैड है या वेरी बैड है, सम पीपल might think as a terrible? Yes, yeah, that happens. I'll tell you, you know, एक टाटा पावर में when I went to conduct program, I asked one participant कि टेंशन किसका आता है, तो one person said क्या है ना, ट्रैफिक बहुत है, आज आधा घंटा लेट हो गया मैं, हॉरिबल ट्रैफिक. उन्होंने said, मैंने उसे क्या बोला कि सी चाइना में 12 दिन था ट्रैफिक जाम, तो दैट इज मोर टेरिबल व्हाट दे आर हॉरिबल, और एक कंट्री में 2.5 month प्रॉब्लम हो गया था. सो दैट पर्सन वो वहाँ पर इधर वो सोचता था, isn't it terrible? दूसरे व्यक्ति के साथ ऐसा हुआ कि when I went in one company, कौन सा टेंशन आता है, तो one person said क्या है ना, मुझे काम के ऊपर टॉर्चर किया जाता है, टॉर्चर. मैंने बोला टॉर्चर मतलब ऐसा कुछ किया जाता है कि जैसे तुम गेट के अंदर आते हो, तुम्हारा पूरा कपड़ा निकाल लेते हैं, तुम्हें 5 राउंड मारने लगाते हैं, हाथ पैर बांध के रखते हैं, चाबुक से मारते हैं, शिट खाने के लिए देते हैं, थू करते हैं, सिगरेट कर, ऐसा कुछ करते हैं, चटका देते हैं, ऐसा नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, क्या है ना, जो काम मुझे पसंद नहीं है ना, कभी कभी दिया जाता है. सो इट इज बैड बट नॉट terrible, not terrible, but the person is terribilizing in his mind. Or let me give you and the thing what we think as terrible, more terrible things are possible. How? Let's take the example of floods in Uttarakhand. अब पेड़ के ऊपर है, नीचे से पानी बह रहा है, टेरिबल, और पानी बढ़ गया, और टेरिबल, और इतना बढ़ गया, और टेरिबल क्या, और 3 मगरमच्छ आपके आसपास, और टेरिबल, जिस पेड़ पर बैठे उस पर एक किंग कोबरा, और 2 किंग कोबरा, मोर टेरिबल. एक मगरमच्छ ने आपका पैर का एक टुकड़ा काट के लेके गया, और टेरिबल, और टेरिबल, किंग कोबरा आपके बॉडी के ऊपर खेल रहा है, और टेरिबल, एक ने काट लिया, और टेरिबल, सुना आप बह गए अभी पत्थर लगा, एंड यू आर बेहोश नाउ. सो दैट इज मोर टेरिबल, इजंट इट? सो व्हाट इज मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट, जब तक हम हमारे थिंकिंग की हवा अपने इमोशन में भरते नहीं है, तब तक वी डोंट गो टू अनहेल्दी नेगेटिव इमोशन, isn't it? जब तक थिंकिंग का अपना जो हवा है, we give colors to our emotion through our thinking, isn't it? Now this is ये terrible क्या है, above 6, right? जब तक हम इस कॉलम में टेरिबलाइज नहीं करते माइंड के अंदर, तब तक वी डोंट गो हियर, isn't it? बात का बतनगढ़ थोड़ा नहीं बनाते हैं ना, तब तक वी डोंट गो देयर. So I asked you at the beginning कि above 6 you think about one specific event. So above 6 क्या है कि इस कॉलम में है, right? So शुरू में आपका ये कॉलम में था, isn't it? That's why हम लोग उधर गए, isn't it? Now I want to ask you question कि अभी इसमें क्या क्या हो सकता है, इसमें क्या हो सकता है, इसमें क्या, ये देखने के बाद, is it still in this column or it has shifted to that side? Shifted. And your thinking has shifted. And how do you feel about it? You are still at UNE or you have shifted? You have shifted. Do you know why you have shifted? Pattern of thinking has changed. So that means what? If I change the way I am thinking about my problem, I can minimize the intensity of my emotion. So that's very important. Second most important thing. कुछ लोग क्या बोलते हैं, लिखा होता है, ये लिखा नहीं होता है. I can, you know, change my attitude or the belief. So second most important thing, shifting from terrible to anti-terrible. Terrible में क्या बोलते हैं? I will show you couple of examples how people terribilize the problem. It's terrible that I may not get promoted. It's really bad, unfortunate, but not terrible. It's terrible that my wife no longer loves me. It's terrible that I'm not as efficient as an executive as I would like to be. So it's terrible again. Then it's terrible that the board of directors knows Pradnya, read please.
I loved up that stock deal we almost made.
Yeah.
It's terrible that the lousy president of our company doesn't appreciate me enough. It's terrible that my co-workers keep behaving stupidly and inefficiently. It's terrible that those idiots on the board of directors think, okay, I loosed up that big stock deal
Yes,
that
yeah.
I really did. It's terrible that my boss treated me unfairly. It's terrible that marriage is such a difficult state that I can't possibly live happily with my wife. It's terrible that things are so arranged that it's impossible for me to be a truly efficient executive. It's terrible that the board of directors keeps seeing me as a stupid when I'm not really, and I'm really brilliant.
So I hope you got my point. How people terribilize and then they go to UNE. That is the second reason. Then what is the third reason why we go to UNE? That is, the third reason is we have low frustration tolerance in the head. What is low frustration tolerance? We are going to talk about it, right? Third reason is LFT. Important LFT को HFT में shift करना. That is important. In low frustration tolerance, what I tell, it's unbearable. I can't stand it. I can't tolerate it. I can't take it anymore. It's enough now, right? So that's how the low frustration tolerance is. High frustration. For that, what I will do, I want you to think. What I will do, I will show you one important situation in which you have to think about the conflict which is there in your mind. Any conflict, ये करूँ या वो करूँ, मतलब मेरे सबॉर्डिनेट को फायर करूँ या नहीं करूँ, या मुझे बाहर दूसरे जगह पर अपॉर्चुनिटी मिल रही है वो लूँ या नहीं लूँ, या जॉब छोड़ के खुद का कुछ करूँ या जॉब कंटिन्यू करूँ. Options, at workplace, yeah, in personal life also, take any conflict which is there going on in your mind. ये रेंट का ऑफिस कंटिन्यू करूँ या खुद का ले लूँ, राइट? और प्रपोज करूँ या नहीं करूँ, एनीथिंग, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. इससे शादी करूँ या उससे शादी करूँ, इट कैन बी एनीथिंग. आई होप यू गॉट माई पॉइंट. यू डोंट हैव टू टेल मी, सो देयर इज नो स्ट्रेस. So think about one's conflict which is going on in your head. I hope you have identified that. Shall we go ahead? Yeah. Whatever conflict, whatever जो आपने identify किया है, couple of things, most important things to remember. First, there is no choice without price. Whatever choice आपके दिमाग में choices, आपने ये, suppose I want to buy house. If I buy this house, this is very close to station, but very expensive and छोटा है, isn't it? If I buy this house, this is very big one, less expensive, but it is far off, विरार में है. कुछ पाने के लिए कुछ खोना पड़ता है, पर आदमी का क्या होता है, दोनों हाथ में लड्डू चाहता है. That's the reason there is a problem. So दोनों हाथ में लड्डू चाहता है, उसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम है. इसलिए कबीर साहब ने कहा है एक दोहे में, हाउ टू रिजॉल्व द कॉन्फ्लिक्ट. चीटी चावल ले चली, बीच में मिल गई दाल. चीटी यानी एंट, चीटी मुंह के अंदर चावल का दाना है, शी इज मूविंग. चीटी चावल ले चली, बीच में मिल गई दाल. नाउ शी इज कंफ्यूज्ड, शी वांट बोथ. चीटी चावल ले चली, बीच में मिल गई दाल. कहे कबीरा दोनों ना मिले, एक ले दूजी डाल. So you have to take stand and pay the price. Whatever stand you will take, you will have to pay the price. One important question, एक मुझे पूछा, एक मेरे प्रोग्राम में काफी बार पूछते हैं कि नीलेश, you are saying negative emotion, negative. Is it not possible positive emotions when negative things are happening? I said no, it's not possible. The reason behind it, क्योंकि दुख है, हमें संतों ने कहा है कि दुख है. गुरु ग्रंथ साहिब में लिखा है कि जब मैं टेरेस के ऊपर, मतलब मुझे लगता है कि मेरे ही घर से दुख की ज्वाला निकल रही है, लेकिन मैं टेरेस के ऊपर जाकर देखता हूं तो हर घर से निकल रही है. दैट मीन्स व्हाट, सफरिंग इज देयर, देर आर, आप कुछ भी करो तो भी सफरिंग है, शादी करो तो भी तकलीफ है, नहीं करो तो भी तकलीफ है, बच्चों को जन्म दो तो भी तकलीफ है, नहीं दो तो भी तकलीफ है। हाँ। अब ये एक्स जॉब करो तो तकलीफ है, वाई करो तो भी तकलीफ है, खुद का करो तो भी तकलीफ है, कुछ भी मत करो, आराम करो तो भी तकलीफ है, बिकॉज एवरी चॉइस हैज गॉट इट्स ओन प्राइस। सो दिस इज द फर्स्ट मोस्ट इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग। और दो तरह की तकलीफ है सबको है, वन इज फिजिकल एंड सेकंड इज मेंटल। 10 तरह की शारीरिक तकलीफ सबको, कोई भी नहीं टाल सकता है, ये संतों ने कहा है। बुद्ध हो, महावीर हो, जीसस हो, सबको है। कौन सी तकलीफ है? सर्दी, गर्मी, थकावट, भूख, प्यास, मल विसर्जन, मूत्र विसर्जन, बुढ़ापा, बीमारी और मौत। ये 10 तरह की तकलीफें जो जो जिंदा आदमी है सबको है। तो मतलब अपने आप को जिंदा रखना ये भी फ्रस्ट्रेटिंग है, वो टॉलरेट करना, बट दैट इज इंपॉर्टेंट। एंड सेकंड टाइप ऑफ तकलीफ इज व्हाट, वी आर लिविंग हाउस होल्डर्स लाइफ, सो वी वांट समथिंग फ्रॉम लाइफ। If you are working, then you want something from that company, right? You are working. So, जब तक दिमाग में want है, चाह है, want यानी चाह है, तब तक तकलीफ है, तब तक दिमाग में, क्योंकि बंधन है, तब तक चाह है, तब तक बंधन है। संतों ने सारे बंधन तोड़ दिए थे। कौन थे बंधन? मातृबंधन। कौन से बंधन में है? मातृबंधन, पितृबंधन, पत्नी बंधन, पति बंधन, पुत्र बंधन, पुत्री बंधन, भाई बंधन, बहन बंधन, पैसा बंधन, प्रॉपर्टी बंधन और काम बंधन, मतलब वर्क, राइट। और चाहते हैं कि तकलीफ नहीं हो, देयर इज नो पॉसिबल नहीं है, क्योंकि जब तक दिमाग में वांट है, चाह है, तब तक तकलीफ है। इसलिए कबीर साहब ने कहा है, चाह मिटी, चाह यानी डिजायर, वांट, चाह मिटी, चिंता मिटी, चाह मिटी, चिंता मिटी, मनवा बेपरवाह, जिसको कुछ नहीं चाहिए वह शहंशाह। दैट मीन्स व्हाट, जब तक मुझे कुछ तो भी चाहिए तब तक तकलीफ है, और वो तकलीफ मुझे टॉलरेट करनी पड़ेगी, हाई फ्रस्ट्रेशन टॉलरेंस रख कर। अगर मैं ग्रम्बलिंग करूंगा तो आई विल गो टू अनहेल्दी नेगेटिव इमोशंस। इसलिए कबीर साहब ने कहा है, जो तू चाहे मुक्त को, जो तू चाहे मुक्त को, छोड़ दे सब आस, आस यानी वांट्स, मुक्त भी हो ऐसा कि सब कुछ तेरे पास। दैट मीन्स व्हाट, इंपॉर्टेंट क्या है, एज लॉन्ग एज आई हैव wants and desires in my head, till that time I will suffer. If I suffer up to this, that is fine. क्योंकि कबीर साहब ने कहा है, देह धरे का दंड है सब काहू को होए। जिसने इसने बॉडी धारण किया है आदमी का, उसको दंड यानी तकलीफ है। देह धरे का दंड है सब काहू को होए, ज्ञानी भुगते ज्ञान करे, अज्ञानी भुगते रोए। जो ज्ञानी होता है वो बोलता है तकलीफ है, वो टॉलरेट करता है। भुगते यानी हाई फ्रस्ट्रेशन टॉलरेंस। मिर्जा गालिब साहब ने भी कहा है, कैदे हयात बंदे गम, असल में दोनों एक है। जब तक हम जिंदा है और इस शरीर के अंदर जीव है, तब तक उसके अंदर गम है। गम और जिंदापन एक ही है। कैदे हयात बंदे गम, असल में दोनों एक है। मौत से पहले भले इससे छुटकारा कौन पाए, दैट मीन्स व्हाट, ये तकलीफ है। सो ये अवेयरनेस जिसके माइंड में रहता है वो क्या करेगा, वो अपना फ्रस्ट्रेशन टॉलरेंस बढ़ाएगा। द पर्सन विल नॉट ग्रम्बल, राइट। बट व्हाट हैपेंस, ये अवेयरनेस न होने के कारण वो आदमी इधर जाएगा। सो फर्स्ट थिंग, देयर इज नो चॉइस विदाउट प्राइस। सेकंड थिंग, सिलेक्ट अ चॉइस वेयर मिनिमम प्राइस इज देयर। से यहां पर 1 रुपया तकलीफ है, यहां पर 2 रुपया है, दिस इज मिनिमम। सम पीपल मे टेक दिस बिकॉज no two people are same. What is right for you may not be right for me, and what is right for you may not be right for me. So, and what is right for me may not be right for you. So it is like that. So तो तकलीफ दोनों में, कम से कम तकलीफ किधर है। एक मेरे टीवी चैनल के लाइव प्रोग्राम में एक लड़के ने मुझे नासिक से फ़ोन किया और कहा मुझे अगला पढ़ाई जो है पूना में नासिक में ही करना है, और घर के वाले कहते हैं कि पूना में जाके करो, टेल मी व्हाट टू डू। आई सेड, अगर आपने अगला पढ़ाई नासिक में ही किया तो तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स तुम्हें तुम जो करना चाहते हो वो कर पाओगे, लेकिन तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स तुम्हें कोऑपरेट नहीं करेंगे, वो क्रिटिसाइज करेंगे, उसके कारण जो तकलीफ है यू हैव टू टॉलरेट दैट। और अगर तुमने अगली पढ़ाई पूना में जाकर की तो तुम्हारे पेरेंट्स तुम्हें क्रिटिसाइज नहीं करेंगे, लेकिन तुम्हारी इच्छा पूरी नहीं हो पाएगी और उसके कारण जो तकलीफ है वो तुम्हें टॉलरेट करनी पड़ेगी। इन दोनों तकलीफों में से कौन सी तकलीफ तुम टॉलरेट करने के लिए तैयार हो, उसके ऊपर डिसीजन निर्भर करता है। सो व्हाट इज मोर इंपॉर्टेंट हियर इज दैट, कि क्या एक्चुअल ये है, इजंट इट। सो सेकंड इंपॉर्टेंट थिंग, take a choice where तकलीफ कम है. And third important thing, once you take the decision, don't grumble. Else what happens? तकलीफ इधर 1 रुपया है, people grumble, वो 100 रुपए तक लेके जाते हैं. और कुछ लोग इतने इंटेलिजेंट, क्रिएटिव और जीनियस होते हैं 1000 तक लेके जाते हैं. They grumble. I will tell you examples. Some example. अभी क्या होता है? One husband wife came to me for a counseling. Wife told, क्यों इससे शादी किया, क्यों इससे शादी किया, नहीं करता तो अच्छा होता. 10 साल हो गए ना. या क्यों ये कर लिया, 2 साल हो गए ना. So we select the best choice available at this moment of time. Like मैं दादर में जाता हूँ कभी सब्जी लेने, देखता हूँ 15 रुपए का कोरिएंडर का बंडल. थोड़ा आगे जाता हूँ, देखता हूँ तो उससे भी अच्छा 10 रुपए में. So I regret over my decision. पर मैं what I tell my mind, जो मैंने वो 15 रुपए का लिया उस क्षण का सबसे बेस्ट था. करेक्ट. उससे बेस्ट ऑप्शन होता था तो मैं वो ले लेता था. So right now if you are working in XYZ company, right now that is the best choice. Yeah, right now you are on your own, that is this at this moment, at this juncture. ये क्षण में सबसे बेस्ट है. सिमिलरली आपका मैरिज हो गया है और चल रहा है, मतलब आज के जमाने में चलना भी बहुत बड़ी बात है, तो दैट इज राइट नाउ एट दिस जंक्चर दैट इज द बेस्ट, क्योंकि वी टेक द बेस्ट चॉइस एट दिस मोमेंट. वी टेक द बेस्ट चॉइस. बट व्हाट हैपेंस विद सम पीपल, दे ग्रम्बल and they suffer, they pay more price. Let me give you 1 or 2 work related example. When I was conducting program in HPCL, some people they got transferred to Alibag from Mumbai. So जब अपॉइंटमेंट लेटर मिलता है तभी लिखा होता है ना, यू विल बी ट्रांसफर्ड एट एनी प्लेस एनीवेयर. अभी वो रोज डेली अलीबाग मुंबई ट्रैवल कर रहे हैं, पर ग्रम्बलिंग. क्या ग्रम्बल कर रहे हैं, हमें इधर क्यों भेजा, हमें इधर क्यों. और भाई किसी ने बंदूक लगा के थोड़ी बोला आपको, आपने वो चॉइस लिया है. बट इफ यू ग्रम्बल यू विल पे मोर प्राइस. So when if you show low frustration tolerance कि अरे it's intolerable, ये नहीं होना चाहिए, तो then you will suffer more. या when I went in Tata Power, you know, मुझे सवाल पूछा हाइड्रोज में, उनके भीरा भ्यूपुरी कोपली में कुछ मैनेजमेंट के लोगों ने, क्या होता है हमें हेड ऑफिस से मैसेज आता है ऐसा करो, फिर वो करते, फिर थोड़ी देर बहुत बात बोलते हैं ये नहीं ये करो, वो करते हैं, फिर थोड़ी देर बोलते ये नहीं वो करो. अरे समझ में नहीं आता है क्या करूँ यार, परेशान है. अरे बट मैंने बोला ऐसा रोज होता है क्या? नहीं कभी कभी होता है. Then what I told them, you know, जब हम लोग 8 घंटा किसी का जॉब करने का डिसीजन लेते हैं, 8 या 10 घंटा, that time उस समय में हमने क्या करना चाहिए इसका फैसला कौन करता है? So that's as, पर उसमें क्या है, ऐसा नहीं होगा ना कि मुझे वो फ्रीडम भी मिलेगा और ये भी नहीं. So वो फ्रस्ट्रेशन मुझे टॉलरेट करना पड़ेगा. Why to tolerate? Why it is worth tolerating it? Because I am getting my salary. And I am paid for that. I need that job. और जो मैंने आपको शुरू में बताया कि वर्क्स की रिलेटेड क्या होता है, there are certain benefits I get. I want that benefit, retirement benefit, gratuity, I want PF. So it is worth tolerating it. तो grumbling करेंगे तो you will go here and you will invite some disease or you will invite lot of stress to yourself. So when we are at high frustration tolerance, we are at HNE. When we are at low frustration tolerance, we go to UNE. And that is how it is. So I will show you actual एक situation, then I will come back to this again, जिसमें risk taking and decision making है. Just now I have told you decision making. Now I hope you got some direction for your conflict. याद है मैंने आपको बोला conflict याद करो, ये करना है वो करना है. Try to apply these 3 important points. There is no choice without price. Second, select a choice where minimum price is there. Third, after selecting choice, stop grumbling. Don't grumble because we select the best choice. You will get some direction for your internal conflict. If you have not yet, still you can ask me then, isn't it? So now, so what are the beliefs behind decision making? I guarantee you that you will stay indecisive and uncreative as long as you demand guarantee. मेरा जो डिसीजन ले रहा हूँ वो मुझे गारंटी चाहिए. समझो मैंने ये शेयर में पैसा डाला है तो ऊपर ही होना चाहिए. तो इट इज नॉट गोइंग टू हैपन because there are no guarantees and certainties in this world, because uncertainty is a part and parcel of life. So many people, what happens, why they remain indecisive? Because they want certainty and guarantee in their choice which no one can give. Risk cannot be zero. Shares के हर फॉर्म पे लिखा होता है, isn't it? Your life में that's a fact. So when what I can do, I can understand the risk factor and I can make efforts to minimize the risk factor without demanding guarantee, and still I will take the decision. नहीं तो क्या होता है, जो लोग बहुत ज़्यादा परफेक्शन में होते हैं ना, दे वांट गारंटी, एंड देन वो मैरिज करते ही नहीं है, एज बढ़ते ही जाता है. Very true. So I hope this guarantee factor. Second important thing, this is Dr. Wendy Dryden. Second, indecisiveness is almost always one's dire need for approval. सबको खुश करना चाहेंगे तो, because see when you have to take stand, किसी को फायर करना है and you are in a dilemma, then फायर किया तो भी तकलीफ है, नहीं किया तो भी तकलीफ है, isn't it? But आप सबको अगर खुश करना चाहेंगे तो what will happen? You will not be able to take the stand and you will remain indecisive. This is what I have seen in many companies. This is one of the important ये है reason है कि why the person remains indecisive, because वो सबको खुश करना चाहता है, and which is in practically not possible to please. आप एक को please करने जाओ, दूसरा displease होगा, दूसरे को करने जाओ, तीसरा, मतलब some of the other price you have to pay your price. So that is the thing. This I have already told you, think about the specific conflict, pay the price without grumbling and all that. This we will take the example of Sushant is sales manager. Pradnya, just.
And 30 people reporting to him. One of his subordinate who is delinquent, antisocial and not sending reports on time. He wanted to fire him, but in two minds, to be or not to be.
The irrational beliefs could be?
Yeah, I just can't hurt him anyways. I can't bear thinking of how hard it will be on his wife and family. It is terrible that I have to decide whether or not to get rid of this salesman. I can't stand the thought of his hating me in case if I let him go. Irrational belief. In case of rational beliefs, wouldn't it be unfortunate if I had to fire this man? His wife and family will suffer by my action and I wouldn't like them to suffer for his delinquencies. He will be probably hate my guts if I fire him, and I wouldn't want him to hate me like that.
So here I am wanting. Wanting is flexible. Demanding is rigid, right? So see, when we suffer more, जैसा मैंने कहा, because we are already householders, living householders life, and we want something. As long as these are desires and wants, if we keep them at desire and wants level, we will not suffer much. We will suffer up to this level. But if I develop attachment to my desire, then what will happen? I will suffer. Right? My subordinate, I want, see here what he's saying. He will probably hate my guts if I fire him, and I wouldn't want him to hate me like that. I wouldn't want him. But if I say, he must not hate me, then what is happening? This is attachment to my desire. This is my desire. But if I develop attachment to my desire, then what will happen? I will go to unhealthy negative emotion. Similarly, if I had, so I wouldn't like them to suffer. I wouldn't like to them to suffer, but they must not suffer. So what will happen? You will remain indecisive or you will remain disturbed. You will go to unhealthy negative emotion and you will suffer more in that case, right? So, rational or irrational beliefs behind decision making. Yes.
Discomfort, anxiety, irrational belief would be, I must be certain my decision is right.
So, I must be certain, right hi hona chahiye. So, that's why, guarantee. Isn't it? I told you about the guarantee. Yeah. Because the belief is I must be right. Yeah.
I would like to be certain that this decision of mine is right. But I don't need such certainty. Since I don't control the world, there is no way I can be certain of the outcome of any decisions I may take.
Yeah. So if I have this belief, I will be at H&E. I will take calculated risk. I will have concern about my decision. What will happen to my decision? But I will not demand guarantee. In demanding guarantee, I will go to anxiety. More guarantee, more certainty I want, more anxious I will become. I can minimize the risk factor. If I focus on minimizing the risk factor, I will remain at concern level.
Discomfort, anxiety and irrational beliefs, it's terrible not knowing how many decisions will turn out to be incorrect.
It's terrible. It will be bad and unfortunate, but not terrible. Yeah.
It's not terrible, but a matter of some concern to me that the outcome of my decision cannot be predicted with certainty. That's the way life is. There's no certainty.
Yeah, there is no certainty. Yeah. I can't tolerate this feeling of uncertainty. I can't stand it. So it's intolerable. Here what we say, it is difficult to tolerate. It is pain in neck, but I can tolerate it. That is what high frustration, low frustration, it's intolerable, unbearable, मुझसे बर्दाश्त नहीं होता, you know. But in high frustration tolerance, what I tell, it is really difficult to tolerate. It is really pain in neck, but I can tolerate it, and it is worth tolerating it because I am getting my salary, isn't it? Or I am getting some benefit. Yeah. Read.
It's not unbearable that uncertainty exists in the world, and there's no reason why it shouldn't exist.
It's there.
What exists, I may not like it, but I can definitely stand it.
What exists, isn't it? It's exist again, isn't it? Similarly, indecision.
Yeah. I must perform well and win the approval of important people in the organization.
Yeah. So that means what? I must win the approval. That means सबको खुश होना चाहिए मेरा decision में. Then I will remain indecisive.
In case of rational belief, I prefer to do well and win the approval of significant people, but there is no reason why I absolutely must do it.
Yeah.
If I fail to do well and win approval, I am an inadequate person.
Yeah.
In case of flexible thinking, if at times I fail to do well and win the approval, that only proves that I am a fallible human being. I can still accept myself in spite of my failure and learn from my mistake to do better and better in
Yeah.
future.
So now we will talk about the fourth important reason. Why do we go to unhealthy negative emotion? The fourth important reason is there is something called as global evaluation. That is the reason I go to unhealthy negative emotion. What is global evaluation? What is the remedy for the global evaluation? What is global evaluation? Say for example, this is life. In life there are certain things are in our favor, certain things are not in our favor. कभी ऐसा होता है all the things are in our favor? कभी ऐसा होता है all the things are against us? No. बट एक ट्रेनिंग में एक व्यक्ति मैं जब बोल रहा था तो बोला अभी मेरी जिंदगी में सारी चीजें मेरे खिलाफ है. मैं बोला भाई साहब अभी तक जिंदा है आप. दैट मीन्स व्हाट, नेचर ने आपको जिंदा रखकर कुछ एहसान किया है. और राइट, दैट मीन्स व्हाट, आई एम नॉट डिनाइंग कि कुछ चीजें डेफिनेटली आपके फेवर में नहीं है, आप परेशान है, आई एक्सेप्ट दैट. तो इसका मतलब ये नहीं. अब क्या है, व्हाट इज सैडनेस? एज आई टोल्ड यू, व्हेन आई फील I have lost something important, depression होगा. Say you lost your mother. If you are feeling sad about it, absolutely fine. This is the bad thing which has happened in your life. But if you tell, oh no, this is not bad, life is bad, then depression हो जाएगा. Isn't it? I lost the job. That is really bad, unfortunate. But that does not mean life is bad. Global evaluation में क्या करते हैं? Total. But इसका इलाज क्या है? Unconditional life, unconditional acceptance. But unconditional acceptance of what? Life acceptance, self acceptance and others acceptance. ये तीन acceptance होना चाहिए unconditional, right? Unconditional life acceptance is what? In life में कुछ favorable, unfavorable चीजें होती है. One unfavorable thing does not mean life is bad, and this is very important cause behind depression. See, प्यार में झटका लगा जिया खान को, तो उसे इसके बारे में बुरा लगता था तो उसे दुख होता था. बट उसने क्या बोला, ये दुनिया ये महफिल मेरे काम की नहीं, तो चलो ऊपर. isn't it? यहाँ पर आदमी काला चश्मा पहन लेता है जब निराश होता है, राज कपूर का गाना गाता है, मेरा नाम जोकर फिल्म में का, जाने कहाँ गए वो दिन. उस गाने में एक लाइन है, अपनी नजर में आजकल दिन भी अंधेरी रात है, गया काम से तूने काला चश्मा पहन लिया है. दैट्स व्हाई पूरा लाइफ को कलर कर दिया है. इजंट इट? हम लोग एक एक्टिविटी मेनी टाइम वी शो, हम लोग एक ग्लास दिखाते हैं, उसमें एक पानी डालते हैं और उसमें क्या करते हैं, 2 बूंद स्याही का डालते हैं, इंक, तो वो उतना ही रहता है. देन वी शेक दैट और इसको ये करते हैं तो पूरा क्या होता है, कलर हो जाता है. उसी तरह से क्या है, लाइफ में कुछ लोगों के कुछ निगेटिव है तो वो क्या कर देते हैं, पूरे लाइफ को कलर कर देते हैं. यू डोंट हैव टू कलर द एंटायर लाइफ. So that is what global evaluation of life they do. How about global evaluation of self, and what is unconditional self acceptance? Say for example, I have already given you example here. You can see, I failed to do well and win the approval. So he failed in that particular thing. So you failed, right? And you dislike that, fine. But इसमें क्या हो रहा है? He failed, therefore I am inadequate person. I failed, therefore I am inadequate person. So इससे पूरा global evaluation कर रहा है. Here what is they doing? If at times I fail, I do.
If at times I fail to do well and win the approval, that only proves that I am a fallible human being.
I am a fallible human being who can fail, isn't it? Yeah.
I can still accept myself in spite of my failure and learn from my mistake to do better in
Future. So in Bible it is said, condemn the sin, not the sinner. So that means I can like and dislike my performances, my traits, behavior, skills without disliking myself. But global evaluation में क्या करता है? I failed in this task, therefore I am failure. हिटलर ने सुसाइड क्यों किया? क्योंकि उसका एक स्टेटमेंट था, इफ यू विन यू नीड नॉट एक्सप्लेन, इफ यू लूज यू शुड नॉट बी देयर टू एक्सप्लेन. So this is global evaluation, isn't it? If I am successful in something, that means I am successful in that particular task, skills, trait. But it does not mean I am a successful person. I am still fallible human being. If I failed in something, that means I failed in that particular skill, trait, performance, behavior. It does not mean I as a failure as a person. So it's very important. जेल के दीवारों के ऊपर भी लिखा होता है, पाप से घृणा करो, पापी से नहीं. That means condemn the sin, not the sinner. So एक इसके बारे में मेरा वीडियो भी है पूरा 1 घंटे का YouTube में, unconditional self acceptance, isn't it? But I hope you got some idea कि don't rate your entire self, you can rate your trait, skill part. Yeah.
And even many of the corporates, what happens, like people try to label because of one particular person has failed in that aspect.
In a meeting
Okay.
they just corner
Yes.
one
नहीं
person.
कर नहीं सकेगा उसको
So,
मत बोलो.
मत
right. So like, and that labeling goes forever as long as it is there in that corporate.
Yes.
So in that case, a person who is suffering such kind of a labeling, he has a choice to say that I am a fallible human being. Okay, whatever his person is saying is that is his opinion and it is not fact. And that's the way he can come from the unhealthy negative emotion to.
I don't like it, but my worth does not go up or go down. इंडिया में क्या होता है देखो, लेट मी टेल यू वन थिंग, दे अप्रूवल में से शादी में ज़्यादा खर्चा करते हैं, दिखावा करते हैं, क्योंकि क्या है, लोगों ने मुझे सही समझा तो देन आई एम गुड, अदरवाइज आई एम नॉट गुड. मतलब लोगों ने मुझे लायक समझा तो मैं लायक नहीं, तो नालायक. अब मैं आपको एक ये दिखाता हूँ. ये कितने रुपए का नोट है? 100. अब इमेजिन कि मैं आपको इसको पैरों के नीचे कुचल रहा हूँ. अब कितने रुपए का नोट है? 100. इसका वैल्यू बढ़ गया? कम हुआ? नहीं हुआ. तो उसी तरह से लोग हमें क्या समझते हैं ना, उससे अपना वर्थ या वैल्यू बढ़ता भी नहीं और कम भी नहीं होता है. व्हाट वी थिंक अबाउट आवर सेल्फ, उसके ऊपर अपना वैल्यू या वर्थ डिपेंड होता है. पर ये बात समझ में नहीं आई ना, तो काफ़ी लोगों का इमोशन का रिमोट कंट्रोल है ना, वो लोगों के हाथ में रहता है. लोग क्या कहेंगे, फिर वो लोग चाबी मारते हैं, ये खिलौने बन जाते हैं. या सो ये जो भी दिखावे की बातें होती है ना, देयर ये बिलीफ होता है. कौन सा? I must be in good books of others. People must love me. People must like me. People must appreciate me. Otherwise, I am no good. I am worthless. That means एक हो गया rigidity और एक हो गया global evaluation of self. That means my worth depend on लोगों के दिमाग में मेरी image क्या है. If that is okay, then I am okay. Otherwise, I am no good. So क्या होता है? Then what people are thinking. That's why in India that is number one problem. In research it has proved the number one cause of stress in India is need for social approval. लोग क्या कहेंगे?
लोगों को टाइम नहीं है सोचने के लिए.
नहीं, there are people they think, but important is what उन्होंने कैसा भी सोचा तो भी मेरा worth.
हम लोग का ऐसा सोचना है कि वो लोग क्या सोचते
हाँ.
हैं. People doesn't have time.
Yeah, but no, see there are people, but even if they don't have time, but I think ना, that's why क्या होता है शादी में मैंने देखा है एक व्यक्ति, वो कहता है मैं लड़की की ऐसी शादी करूंगा कि लोग देखते रह जाएंगे, और फिर ऐसी खुद की वाट लगाई. 100, 200, 500 रुपए चाहिए तो लोगों से मांगते हैं. या दूसरे रिलेटिव 25 लाख रुपया खर्चा किया, 1.5 महीने के बाद बाईपास करना पड़ा. सो यू नो वो दिखावा जो है, that is coming from this belief कि my worth will have what people should think high about me, and if they think less then I am no good. And इतना वाट लगा के भी वो वर्थ बढ़ता नहीं है ना. Still you think I am worthless because my worth depends on what people think about me. So ये बहुत बड़ा चैप्टर है अपने आप में. This is comes under unconditional self acceptance. उसका एक वीडियो है. Then what is unconditional others acceptance? Others are also fallible human being like me. I can hate or dislike their behavior without disliking themselves. Anger में क्या होता है, ये आदमी ऐसा है, so I go to anger. Annoyance, I don't like this act of that person, so annoyance. That's the difference. So let's see one more thing, right? What is hostility? Now what we will do, see there are many examples यहाँ पर है, but what is most important? UNE to HNE is most important. Yes or no? Yeah, I can show you many examples, but we will go to core thinking philosophy which is behind this and this. Isn't it? नहीं तो मैं आपको बहुत सारे hostility क्या होती है corporate world में, what is hostility, hostility क्या है, isn't it? Criticism किया तो how you get disturbed, and I can explain that as well. What are the belief? Weakness is revealed, you cried in front of the boss, or respect not given, you are being insulted. All this situation का मेरे पास पूरा ये है, rigid belief है, flexible belief है जो मैंने कहा, isn't it? Subordinate not sending report in time. Again, but what we will go to the main points. So this is the thing which is there. Then not only that, an absolutely boring job. So no more promotion yet again. Each and every ka ye hai. There is an explanation for each and every one. Assignment given to you which you don't like, isn't it? Then you may have rigid belief, it's unfair, and then flexible belief and all that, right? इसमें क्या है? Then rational and irrational beliefs of workaholics. There are workaholics people. They think work is my worth. My worth depends on work. So they have also rational and irrational belief. I will not go into that again. Then how to replace unhelpful and helpful thoughts. This is again, we will directly come back to the philosophy of thoughts behind UNE. Because क्या है? See, there are many problems and because we have paucity of time, shortage of time. That's the reason. Not that I don't want to, but there can be hundreds of situations. But in the first half, I have told you कि हर एक emotion में कौन सा situations होता है, isn't it? Different situation we do feel. Ultimately, I have to shift, right? That's very important. How to do that? Say if I am at anger, how to shift to annoyance? What is the core philosophy behind anger and annoyance? Anger में view क्या होता है? Yes.
It's a dog eat dog world.
It's a dog eat dog world. मतलब that's the philosophy behind anger.
Yeah. Annoyance में, that is healthy negative emotion में, the world is very complex and varied. It can be a dog eat dog, but it can also be dog look after dog.
Yeah. So what will happen? The anger का core, there are four things which are there. So what will happen? The anger will emerge. ऐसा अगर belief रहेगा और उसमें अगर उसमें का जो distortion है वो check नहीं किया, what is the logical fallacy in that particular thinking, then I will keep on angry, isn't it? I will keep on hurting myself. Yeah.
People only selfishly look after themselves and their own.
Yeah. सब लोग मतलबी होते हैं, Then.
In annoyance, people look after themselves and their own, but in a self-caring way as well as selfishly. They also look after others as well.
Yeah. So वो रहेगा ना, people are selfish and it's a dog eat dog world. Then what will happen when some kind of experience will happen? You will react more to that, isn't it? You will get angry. Third, about anger only.
People always act with malicious intent. There's no such thing as an accident. In case of annoyance, people can act with malicious intent, but certainly not all the time. And
accident do happen, isn't it? वो जानबूझ के ऐसा करते हैं. तो then what will happen? Yeah.
People are out to get me, so I need to get them before they get me.
Yeah. This is common in anger, right? Yeah. Common.
People may be out to get me, but they also may be out to help me.
Yeah.
And may be friendly. I don't need to attack unless there's a clear evidence that they are out to harm me.
So I hope, yeah, if this is a philosophy, overall life का philosophy कैसा है, will determine where you will go, anger or annoyance. Then let's take another emotion, anxiety. Anxiety is about future, and I want certainty and guarantee in future, and there is no certainty. But then what will happen? Yeah.
In anxiety, view will be the world is
Danger.
a dangerous place.
Dangerous place है, बच के रहो. Anxiety is like that. So yeah.
In concern, the world is a place where danger exists, but there is much safety as well.
As well. Second belief in anxiety.
Uncertainty is dangerous, and I must get guarantee that I am safe in all probabilities.
Not possible.
Not possible. But behind anxiety, that belief is there. Behind safety कि मुझे कुछ नहीं होना चाहिए. Yeah.
When you are on concern track, uncertainty can indicate the presence of threat, but more often it is also associated with the absence of threat. Risk cannot be zero. Uncertainty and safety is most of the time in my favor, and sometimes it is not in my favor. Not being in control is dangerous. It has to be controlled all the time. And
Future.
if it's not in control, so it is
Dangerous.
Either I am in control or I am out of control. Concern track, not being in control is unpleasant, but is rarely dangerous. Just because I am not in complete control certainly does not mean that I am totally out
of control. Anxiety may want 100% control. Yeah.
People cannot be trusted.
Anxiety.
And concern, my best chance is to trust someone unless I have evidence to the contrary. If I am let down, that is very unfortunate, but not
Terrible. We have already seen what is terrible. Yeah.
Not the end of the world. Just because one person has let me down, that does not mean all people will let me down. And it will break my trust and won't affect my stance towards the next person I meet.
Yeah, एक ने धोखा दिया तो पूरा ही धोखा देगा. All girls are like this, or men are like this. Overgeneralization, I will not. Or bosses are like this. Then what is the depression and sadness? This is also number 2 problem. Is going to be number 2 problem in the world. Yeah.
In depression, view is I am not okay and you are okay. I am totally not okay and you are totally okay.
Yeah, that is a depression. Because comparison, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not okay, I'm not. If you keep on telling yourself I'm not okay, then you are going to feel depressed and sad.
Sadness, I am okay in some aspects and not okay in some aspects because I am fallible human being. Similarly, you are okay in some aspects and not okay in some aspects.
Some aspect, but it does not mean. Yeah. But वो comparison करता है ना depression में वो बोलता है you are total okay, I'm total not okay, right?
In depression,
the world is a bad.
World is bad place, and in sadness, the world is a place where bad, good, and neutral things happen.
Yeah. Yeah, plus minus है.
Life is, in case of depression, life is unfair. Why this has happened to me? And why?
Why me only? Why me? Right. तो ये why me का जवाब क्या है? क्योंकि जिंदगी में कभी भी किसी के साथ भी कुछ भी हो सकता है, इसलिए तुम. That's it. Yeah.
In sadness, life is unpredictable. Anything can happen in this world at any time. Certain things are in my favor and certain things are not in my favor. Just because one thing is not in favor, it does not mean entire life is
Unfair.
In depression, life is ultimately meaningless.
Yeah.
In case of sadness,
फिर वो गाना कैसा गाएगा ऐसा अगर वो रहेगा ना, और नहीं बस और नहीं गम के प्याले और नहीं दिल में अभी जगह नहीं है बाकी, क्योंकि लाइफ में कोई मीनिंग ही नहीं है. मीनिंग ही नहीं, isn't it? डिप्रेशन में जाने के बाद पूरा वो गम पूरा माइंड के अंदर वो बोलेगा लाइफ में there is no meaning in life, meaninglessness. Then
in sadness, life neither has meaning nor is meaningless. I can find and actively pursue a number of meaningful projects over my
lifespan. Yeah.
People will ultimately reject me. Therefore, it is best not to get involved with them.
Yeah.
In case of sadness, some people will reject me, others will not. I can actively involve myself in relationship in light of this fact.
See what happens डिप्रेशन में ना आदमी अकेले अकेले रहने का मन करता है, घर में रहता है, सोशल सिचुएशन अवॉइड करता है, किसी के बात नहीं करता है, तो क्योंकि उसको क्या है तो रिजेक्शन, पीपल विल रिजेक्ट मी, विल नॉट एक्सेप्ट मी, सो वो अपने ही शेल में होता है. बट दिस इज अ फैक्ट. पर वो फिलोसॉफीज की वजह से कोर इससे द पर्सन इज रिमेन इन दैट पर्टिकुलर डिप्रेस्ड स्टेट. देन
The world is made up of strong and weak people. In depression, people say, define. He's a strong
आई एम अ
person
वीक, इज अ स्ट्रांग.
and he's a weak. In case of sadness, how that person will look at? The world is made up of people who have both the strength.
Strength and weaknesses, not strong, not totally strong. Yes.
Nobody is totally strong and nobody is totally weak.
Now, what is in case of guilt and healthy guilt, or guilt or regret, right? Guilt में क्या होता है philosophy life का?
Okay, guilt. Other people's desires are more important than my own.
Yeah. And when I don't please others, then वो जो indecisiveness में भी क्या था? The guilt why it was coming? Because उसका wife का क्या होगा, उसका क्या होगा? But what about me? So then I give more priority to what other people, उसका, yeah. Then
In healthy case, my desires are no less important to me than others' desires are to them. I can flexibly and healthily prioritize my desires in the same way as others can flexibly and healthily prioritize theirs.
their desires. Guilt again.
When I am involved, I have responsibility for the hurt feelings of
Others.
In case of healthy guilt, when I am involved, I have a responsibility for my actions. But ultimately, I am not responsible for the feelings of others. That is theirs. They are responsible for their feelings.
Yeah. क्या होता है इसी guilt में there is over sensitivity is shown. Yeah. Yeah. 5 minutes only. हाँ. Yeah. Guilt में क्या होता है? Over sensitivity होता है, मतलब ये guilt में क्या होता है? Only 3 emotions are left after this. Then we will stop. Only guilt में क्या होता है? When I'm doing counseling sometime, what happens? मेरे हाथ से क्या होता है, गलती से पेपर नीचे गिरा समझो, तो क्लाइंट सॉरी बोलता है मुझे. Actually, who is responsible for that? I am responsible. But that's why that they take over responsibility, and they face many problems in their life. So you can see that video also, overcoming guilt. It's very important. Next.
In case of guilt, unhealthy guilt, in the moral domain, I expect more of myself than I do of others.
Yeah.
In case of healthy guilt, in the moral domain, I can expect the same of myself as I can
Expect of others.
It is possible to always act morally.
That means I must be right all the time. Guilt में क्या होता है? That if I make a mistake, yeah, it's not possible. But that's unrealistic demand. Yeah.
In case of healthy, it is rarely possible to always act morally, since if you do the right thing from one perspective, you may be doing the wrong thing from
Other
another
perspective. And what is Wendy Dryden said कि जब हम कोई right करने जाते हैं ना, तो दूसरा कुछ तो भी wrong होता है. Suppose, say for example, a lady is doing a job, so she is doing some right thing, she is bringing something, but where house के ऊपर इतना ध्यान नहीं होता है तो wrong. और घर में बैठता है तो भी right है and wrong है. You understand? Anything, whenever you are trying to do something, it's not possible to be right always. That's the way. When we are trying to do something right, we were going to do something wrong. Yeah.
saying no to others is a sign of selfishness.
Guilt में they can't say no. They think that, that's why there is one book, मेरे पास एक book है, when I say no I feel guilty. बहुत बड़ा book है, मतलब it's very wonderful book on assertiveness. So they think that I am एक मेरे पास रिलेटिव आए थे, वो कहने लग गए हम अमेरिका जा रहे हैं, हमारे पास एक कुत्ता है, 3 महीने संभालते हो क्या? मैंने बोला नहीं. फिर वो दूसरे रिलेटिव के पास गए, उनको पूछा, उनको अंदर से ना बोलना था पर इनको क्या लगेगा इसलिए हाँ बोला. फिर 3 महीने वो कुत्ते ने ऐसा परेशान करके रखा, बिकॉज हेल्पिंग, हाउ कैन आई से नो टू अदर्स? देन या
Saying no to others may be selfish, but it's more likely to be a sign of healthy self-care.
Healthy self-care, yeah. Hurt and sorrow. This is a very important in Indian context. Hurt.
Okay, in case of hurt, when I do a lot for those close to me, they will fail to reciprocate and will abuse my generosity.
Yeah, they will fail to reciprocate. Yeah.
Healthy sorrow, when I do a lot for people, most will reciprocate, but some won't, and some may even abuse my
Generosity. Right. Hurt kya hai? I don't deserve this treatment from these people, from close people. Alright. How they are treating. So then I may overgeneralize.
If I trust those close to me, they will often betray me, while I would not betray them. No? In case of sorrow, if I trust those close to me, most won't betray me, but some may
Well betray me.
Significant others will act unfairly towards me, while I would not be unfair to them.
Significant others, parents, husband, near and dear one, boss, who are significant others, who are related to. So they will act unfairly towards me while I would not be unfair to them. What is reality?
Some significant others will indeed act unfairly to me, but not all will. Can I really be sure that I would not act unfairly to them?
नहीं तो क्या होता है, they act unfairly और वो फिर क्या होता है, एक दीवार बन जाती है माइंड की, मतलब रिलेशनशिप में, and then that divar is invisible and then there are problems. If they are realistic, then they will move on, isn't it? Yeah.
Those close to me will often exclude or neglect me
For no good reason. In
case of
hurt we feel neglected, yeah.
In case of sorrow, those close to me may sometimes exclude or neglect, but most won't. When they do, I may not understand why they have done, but this does not mean that they have done so far no good to
Me. Then what is shame? What would be in the shame? Yeah. Healthy and unhealthy.
There's always the danger that I will not achieve my ideal standards.
Shame में क्या होता है? How can I show my face to others and people will look down at me negatively. They will judge me negatively and then my worth will go down. So there is always this. Yeah. Next.
There's always this danger, but these standards are there to guide me, not to be achieved all
the time. That means at times it may happen.
At times I may fail. At times
At
I
socially
may
unacceptable may thing happen.
Possible for me to come back.
या अभी कभी क्या होता है, देख सम पीपल ना शादी में खर्चा नहीं किया ना तो भी शेम आता है उनको, बिकॉज दे हैव सेट दैट रिजिड स्टैंडर्ड फॉर देमसेल्फ एंड देन दे सफर. या
Social situations are dangerous because other people will judge me negatively if I put a foot wrong.
सो देन ओवर गार्ड में रहते हैं, बिकॉज वो दे संभल तब गलत तो नहीं हो गया, फूक फूक के कदम डालते हैं, तो देन दे आर ओवर कॉशियस इज अगेन अ प्रॉब्लम.
Social situations can be dangerous, but they can also be gentle. If I put a foot wrong, people may judge me negatively, but they may also show me understanding and compassion.
Yeah.
Social situations are dangerous because I may be exposed as defective, disgusting, or diminished at any moment. So they take care of their image all the time.
Yeah.
In case of healthy shame, if I fall short of my ideal or go against a social custom, I am revealing my fallibility and my humanity. This makes social situation
Far less dangerous. Now let's see what is healthy envy and unhealthy, and then we will stop here. Only 3 slides.
My worth is measured by my possessions.
कितना है मेरे पास, उसके ऊपर my worth or value depends.
In case of healthy envy, my worth is determined by my aliveness and not by my possessions.
See, whatever possessions I have, material possessions, वो मेरे पास है. ये जो feeling है, that is a part of my mind. If you cut the head, you will not get gold, you will not get the notes. ये है, that feeling is, that feeling, ये है मेरे पास, that's a part of my mind. But those people, they think that my worth is my. Then what happens with them when there are ups and downs in life. When they go in down phase, they think my worth have totally come down as a human being. And they go into depression, they feel ashamed and they feel miserable about it. This is other, there is other side to this also, you know. So this is one side ki envious ka hai, and then other.
If others with whom I am in competition have more than me, then they are worthier than me.
They are more worthier than me, yeah.
In case of healthy envy, if others have more than me, still our worth as a human being is
Equal.
The more I have, the more happier will be. Or in case of healthy envy, for happiness require only two things.
Our basic needs to be met, food, clothing and shelter, but after basic needs there is no guarantee. So second thing is also important, developing meaningful philosophy towards life. If that is not there, then there is a problem. You know, this more, मैं एक मुल्ला नसरुद्दीन का कहानी बताता हूँ. आप मुल्ला नसरुद्दीन को शादी करना था तो एक बाप उसके पास गया और कहा कि देखो मुल्ला जी, मुझे 3 लड़कियां हैं, सबसे छोटी लड़की है, उसकी उम्र है 20 साल, उससे शादी करोगे तो मैं आपको 1 करोड़ रुपया दूंगा. दूसरी लड़की है, उसकी उम्र है 25 साल, उससे शादी करोगे तो मैं आपको 10 करोड़ रुपया दूंगा. तीसरी लड़की है, उसकी उम्र है 30 साल, उससे शादी करोगे तो मैं आपको 100 करोड़ रुपया दूंगा. और मुल्ला से पूछा, बताओ मुल्ला जी कौन सी लड़की से शादी करोगे? उसने तुम्हें और कोई 35 साल की लड़की नहीं है. So wanting more, and then there is no end to that particular greed. You know, this earth can satisfy human, you know, basic जो ये है, but it cannot need, but cannot satisfy the greed. I met, you know, in Karnataka one 90-year-old doctor. He was Dr. Padaki. He was, you know, he participated in one of my training program I conducted for doctors, MBBS doctors in Karnataka, one full day training. And at the age of 90, every day वो 125 पेशेंट देखते हैं फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट. हाँ, या मेरे पास फोटोग्राफ्स भी है डॉक्टर पड़ा की. टीथ साबुत है, स्पेक्स नहीं है, and you know, healthily is living. He actively participated. What he said, you know, बोला आपका राज क्या है? तो one of the thing what he said कि see, आप अगर आप efforts करते हैं तो most of your needs will be satisfied. But people are going after the greeds. That's why, you know, there are more problems. So this is, you know, related to that more. There is no end to that. And when there is no end, then ultimately what satisfaction नहीं है. कबीर साहब ने क्या कहा है संतोष के बारे में? गोधन, गो यानी गाय, गोधन, गज धन, बाज धन, रतन धन है खान. गोधन, गज धन, बाज धन, रतन धन है खान. पर जब आवे संतोष धन, सब धन धूरी समान. सब धन दूर की तरह लगता है. आज अमेरिका, इंग्लैंड, ऑस्ट्रेलिया, इन देशों में साइकियाट्रिक मेडिसिन लेने का परसेंटेज बढ़ गया है, काफी बड़े पैमाने पर हुआ है. देयर मटेरियल नीड्स आर सैटिस्फाइड. व्हाट इज मिसिंग इज पीस ऑफ माइंड. सो दैट इज व्हाई द फिलॉसफी अगर प्रॉपर है लाइफ का, and for that philosophy, if you keep this type of philosophy, you will be less disturbed. If you keep this side philosophy, you will be more disturbed. This is more on philosophical grounds. You know, whatever we are talking, belief se zyada deeper level philosophy. Yeah.
I can be happy only if I get the possessions that I want. And in case of healthy envy, I can be happy even if I do not get the possessions that I want. If someone has what I want, I really want it.
मेरे पास होना चाहिए. एंड वो कंपैरिजन, उसके पास डबल डोर का फ्रिज है तो मेरे पास भी होना चाहिए. बट यू देयर इज नो एंड टू दैट ना.
And the healthy envy, if someone has what I want, I think I really want it. Things that I think that I really want it. But that level of desire is colored by my feelings of unhealthy envy.
Yeah. So
it's unfair if others have what I don't have, but it is fair if I have what others don't have.
होना चाहिए है तो then I am happy. Then
So he would value that.
yeah.
If it's unfair that others have what I don't have, it's unfair to others if they don't have what I have.
Yeah, this is a counter. So yeah, so that is again over generalization. दुनिया में कुछ सही लोग हैं, कुछ से. Yeah, so thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. Yeah.